Sales charges, cost, and fees of mutual funds, right? We just went over all these great mutual funds and these, how awesome they are, how they could change life. Well, they don't do that for free. Okay, there's costs associated with buying mutual funds, retail mutual funds, right? So you get a charge up front, sales charges, and the operating expense differ in equity mutual funds and in bond mutual funds. What do you mean? Well, it costs more to manage a stock mutual fund because they have to do a lot more research than it would a government bond fund, right? So there's less research and less work that needs to happen there. And then when you're looking at stocks, it depends which ones you're owning, they'll charge you more. So if you're investing in an Asia mutual fund versus a U.S. large cap growth fund, well, the Asia mutual fund is going to probably charge more. Why? Because it's more money to research everything. These guys got to fly to Asia. It's just a lot more work. It's a lot more cost. So let me give you an example. Asia fund, Asia X, a large cap, and a balance and an index fund. I got 4 different types of funds there, okay? So notice the operating expense for Asia X. That's 1.47%. So almost 1.5%. Man, 1.5%. Yeah, that's what it costs if you want to invest in Asia. Because it costs them more money to do the research, the legwork, the travel, and all that. They probably need translators. They probably need all kinds of stuff. I'm not involved in what it takes, but it is logical that it's more expensive, isn't it? You want boots on the ground. If they're going to invest $200 million in a company in Japan, they probably want to have an office over in Japan to monitor things, right? Well, that costs money. Then you look at Comstock, which is a large cap fund. So like Walmart, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, those are easy to look up. You can look those up online. Their annual reports are online, published. They have these programs where they subscribe to all these companies so they get their reports. They're on quarterly calls with them. It's easier research. So look, that charges 0.82, like almost half. Then you look at equity income, which is, remember, stocks and bonds. So the equity part of it, the stock part of it is all large caps. So it's not hard to do, and then the rest is in bonds. So if you notice, it's a little bit less than this one. Then we have the S&P equally weighted, which is tied to an index, but it's not an index fund. There's actually a strategy where they equally weight it, so they put the money in every stock equally, and that one's cheaper. So these are the annual operating expenses, okay? So when you have a mutual fund, retail Class A mutual fund, when you invest, you're going to get charged a load up front, and that one you'll know what it is, because if you invest 100 grand and you get your statement, it's not 100 grand, right? It'll like print it out. So it's your job to tell them what it is and explain it to them, okay? And a lot of people in the industry, they don't do that, but it is your required job to do so. So Class A funds come with a load up front. The larger your investment, the less you pay. It's like getting a volume discount. Generally speaking, with products, the more you buy, the less they cost per unit. So when you invest in a mutual fund, the more you invest. So at $1 million, there's no load up front. So you can invest $1 million, and you'll notice all $1 million goes in. You invest 10 grand, the load's 5.5%. It is fair because that smaller investor, they still got to do all the work, and they're not getting paid on the operating expense as much money, so that's why there's a load up front. So if you look at this, be sure to understand breakpoints, linking accounts, and letter of intent. I'm going to explain those. Always disclose the charges and the fees. Always disclose the load up front. Don't try to think you're going to get by and not explain it, and then when the client gets it, they're going to be pissed off at you. So it's your job to explain it. Always make sure that they totally understand what they're buying and what it costs. So let me just give you an example. This is going to be quick. Here's the Asia Fund. Here's this program again, this Investment Plus program. So it tells you right here in the middle, fees and expenses 1.47. That's your total fees and expenses in the Asia fund. Comstock, I'm just letting you look at where it is so that you know where to look it up. Here it's 0.82, right there. Fees and expenses, equity income, it's right here, 0.80. And then equally weighted, 0.53, right there. So it's all there. And then on your next page, you'll have, using also this Investment Plus program, on the last page of the report, you have the load schedule. So the load schedule tells you, with the amount of money you're investing, how much your charge will be. So from $0 to $49,999, you're going to pay 5.5% load. If you invest $250,000 to $49999, you're going to pay 3.5%. If you're at $1 million plus, it's 0. Notice on the bonds, the charges are less. Let me give you an example. Here, the maximum charge from 0 to $99,999 is 4.25, whereas with the stocks, the maximum charge is 5.5. So these are taxable bond funds. They're all pretty much in line. All the companies, especially the ones we use, charge the same. With the municipal bonds, there's even more of a discount. Look at the discount here. If you go 0 to 99, it's not changed. It's still 4.25. But here, if you go $250,000 and up, it's no charge. Versus in the equities one and the stock ones, you need $1 million and up. So in the municipal, $250,000 and up. So, hey, listen, if we could invest your money, get you more than you make at the bank, and pay no taxes and no charge up front, is there any reason you wouldn't want to learn more about that? That's like a loaded question. So here, it illustrates the charges. So $250,000 each. If you look at the OPGIX, $250,000, the charge is 2.75, and it's dictated in the value because your $250,000 initially dropped in value. You're like, hey, where'd my money go? It went to a load up front. $250,000 in the municipal income. If you notice, all $250,000 is there because there's no charge. So you scroll down though and you go, man, I don't want to pay a charge. Well, you scroll down, you might change your mind. The one on the left, the $250,000 grew to $9.7 million, and the other one grew to under $1.5 million. That's a huge difference. Again, it all depends what kind of roller coaster you like to ride. If you're a Slinky Dog Dash guy, or if you're like a It's a Small World guy, okay, then you're looking at municipal. Yeah, it's a small world. Mark's an It's a Small World guy. So, any questions on those charges? So pretty much you have a load up front, you have an annual operating expense, the return you get is net of expense. So in other words, in this example, when it tells you it made 12.5%, it made 12.5% net. That's what the client pocketed even after the charges were paid and the operating expense was paid. So again, price is only an issue in the absence of value. Everybody has their own values, and everybody's willing to pay for whatever makes them happy.